Dr. David Klein of the Stages of Life joins me in studio today, and we're going to be talking, and we have been talking for a few days, about the essential things you need in your diet. Now, maybe your great-grandparents got this through, the things they ate and the food and the drink and the water. But now everything's kind of different. Everything right now is either chemicalized or our soil is burnt out of nutrients. So we really need to pick this up someplace. The human body still needs these minerals. So one of the things I take every day, and you should be taking every day, is fish oil. Now, why should I take fish oil?
Okay, why fish in particular? Okay, well, it contains a bunch of different nutrients. Okay, we're not going to talk about the proteins that are in there. If you want to eat fish, it's great. You don't want to do it too many times per week because of the mercury and some of the other issues. Okay, gout is another thing that can be stirred up with too much fish.
Whoops.
But not so much with fish oil. What's in the fish oil that interests me? That's probably the better question. And there are two things. Okay, they're both omega-3 fatty acids. Now, this sounds like a lot of gobbledygook. Omega-3, omega-6, omega-9, omega-7. Well, if you go get the junk, the garbage fish oils, they'll tell you this is 3-in-1 fish oil because it's got omegas 3, 6, 7s, or it's got all kinds of other things, including omega-9s. Okay, this is bad news. Your body needs the omega-3s and 6s to be within a certain range. They also have to be in a certain ratio to the omega-6s. Omega-6s are cheap and they make you kind of sick. Okay, it's very hard to get the omega-6s without the omega-3s. So what do? We try to cut back in the saturated fat. We all know how this works. Sucking down bacon fat, sucking down things like coconut oil will load you up with omega-6s. It's pro-inflammatory, not smart.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to take the omega-3s to balance them out. If you take a product that has 3s and 6s, then you're really not fixing anything. To fix the ratio, you need to take the deficient part, the omega-3s. Well, which ones are we mostly interested in? Well, we're interested in something called EPA and DHA.
Right.
EPA is eicosapentaenoic acid. Now, what does this one omega-3 fatty acid do for you, and why should you care? Well, it's an endocardial anti-inflammatory. You're going to go, what the heck does that mean? And it means this. It protects your heart and your brain. Okay? You do it because on the inside of the arteries, with too little of this stuff, they become inflamed. When that happens, cholesterol deposits start to get laid down. It hardens the arteries. The EPA reverses this. It prevents it if you're young enough, and it starts to reverse it if you're suffering it. So this is terribly important. How much do you need per day? And the answer is about 800 milligrams. All right? This does not sound like a lot because, after all, my capsule contains 1,000. It contains 1,000 of what? Okay? And we're going to get to that in a second. Okay, so it's necessary to control hardening of the arteries, sometimes known as atherosclerosis. That's the doctor word. And if you use the doctor word, you either get a discount in the office or the doctor charges you more. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. The other one is more interesting. That's DHA, docosahexaenoic acid. And the reason why this stuff is really, really cool, okay, is the DHA is the most prevalent of all fatty acids, fats, oils in the brain. So when you end up with things like stroke, peripheral neuropathy, dementia, okay, DHA can reverse a good bit of this. So you want to take enough of it. What's enough? 600 milligrams a day, typically, sometimes more. Somebody comes in with a stroke or somebody comes in with diabetic polyneuropathy, I will increase the dosage of the DHA. So the two together, and this is where the take-home message is going to come in. Now, as adults, and most of the people listening here are adults, they have experience with quote-unquote adult beverages. Okay, and I'm going to use a metaphor here that most people can understand, unless you're a teetotaler, in which case you're just going to have to bear with me. Okay, but beer, wine, brandy, absolute alcohol. Now, what are the differences here? And it's the percentage of alcohol within that beverage. Beer can be anywhere from 3% alcohol to as much as 8%, sometimes more. Wine, okay, can be as little as 8% to as much as 20% if it's a fortified wine. If it's a regular wine, it's usually 12 to 13%. Same volume, but almost twice as much alcohol. So the dosaging is going to be different in order for you not to be pulled over for DUI. Then you take something called brandy, which is distilled, keyword, distilled wine. Now the alcohol content goes up to 40%. So it goes from 14 to 40%, sometimes
Woo.
more. If it comes right out of the cask, it's 95% alcohol. That's what you look at when it comes out of the distillation head. Okay, it has to be diluted with water. Okay, then absolute alcohol is 100%. Grain alcohol is 95%. So these things differ in the amount of alcohol per unit volume. When you evaluate a fish oil, and this is what it's all about, it's not the size of the capsule. It's the amount of the stuff in it. Okay, so you actually have to look at the amount of EPA and DHA. And so what you do is you take those two numbers, add them up, and it should exceed 1,400 milligrams. That's for the average adult. If your needs are increased, you take a little bit more, but not by taking larger volumes of things that contain junk. You know, in ours, we also put something in there called alpha lipoic acid, which is used for a very different reason. It's also an omega-3 fatty acid. Okay, so it rounds it out to 1,500 milligrams out of the 2,000 milligrams in 2 of these capsules. It's been distilled 6 times. So the product that we've got is called Heart and Soul. Why Heart and Soul? I get to name it. Okay, we buy it off a boat. Okay, this stuff is fished in the South Atlantic off of Chile. Okay, it hits the boat. It's anchovies, sardines, small fish. They have to be small fish. Why? Because it doesn't give the fish a chance to bioaccumulate mercury. It's then distilled on board, put in 55-gallon drums, and then we have it put in capsules. That's the way it's done. We assay this stuff for heavy metals to make sure that there isn't any in there, but we need it distilled so that it's reproducible. So Heart and Soul. Why? Because it's for your heart, and it's from fish, S-O-L-E. That's just a little bit of a joke that I threw on people. It's shocking the number of folks that really don't pay attention or they don't know how to spell. But Heart and Soul is what it is. So the average individual takes 2 per day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening.
Right.
Does it cause odd odors in your mouth? The answer is no. Okay, it doesn't. It's not burp-free. Nothing in this world, including McDonald's hamburgers, is burp-free. Okay, but it doesn't have an unpleasant taste or odor to it.
No aftertaste either.
None. Okay, you could actually drink the stuff, but it's impractical to get the liquid, so I have it encapsulated. But it's probably the finest fish oil out there. When you buy it in the store, it's about $23 a month, 60 capsules. If you buy it on auto ship, it's under 20. So it's less expensive than things like krill oil. And people think, krill oil is marvelous. It's probably the single stupidest way to replace the omega-3s. The claim is it's better absorbed, and I'll answer. The response to that is, of course it's not any better absorbed. This stuff is 100% absorbed from the gut. So how much better is it going to get? You can't absorb 110% of something. It just doesn't work.
Now, does my memory serve that when we were talking about vitamin D3 some months ago, that we said you've got to take it with fish oil?
Yes.
Why?
Okay. Now, vitamin D3, is an interesting thing. It's not a vitamin. Vitamin D3 is a hormone.
Right.
Okay. There are vitamin D receptors on the genes. The difference between an enzyme and a hormone. Okay. A hormone is a chemical. Could be something as simple as a polypeptide. Okay, it could be something more akin to an olefin, but in this case, it's a steroid. Okay, vitamin D3 is a steroid. Steroids are fat oil soluble. So in order for it to make it through the gastric mucosa and the small bowel, it has to be in an oil environment. So in order to get the most bang for your buck, I tell people to take their vitamin D with their fish oil. I tell them to take their DHEA, their pregnenolone, with the fish oil. You don't need to take an extra fish oil. You just take it all at the same time. It increases absorption. You get more bang for your buck, and we can get by using less of this stuff and save you some money. So so the timing of this is very, very important. So this is one of the things we go through with our patients. When they come in, they're supposed to bring everything with them, lay it out. This gives me a chance to look at it, gives me a chance to critique it and to make sure that people are doing what they're told to do. The shocking thing is it's only about half done. People forget what's going on. So what we do in our on our patient portal is you can log in and see what I think you're doing. You log in and you can see what I think you should be doing. So if there's ever a question about it, that's where it's at. So Heart and Soul, it's got the perfect amount of EPA and DHA for about 90% of the population. There are individuals out there, especially folks with diabetes, that need to take 3 or 4 of these per day. And that's okay. We'll talk about it. But for most everybody, one of these bottles lasts 1 month, and it's just absolutely a perfect product.
And again, whatever your individual need is, You can customize that at stagesoflifevitamins.com. Stagesoflifevitamins.com. Let's say that you're supposed to take 2 a day, maybe 3 a day, maybe 4 a day. You and the doctor agree. That's what you set up on your auto delivery plan. That way, you're out for the day, you're golfing, whatever. You come home, the box is there. Everything has been shipped in a timely manner so you don't run out. All right? The worst thing that can happen is, you don't have something and you stop taking it, or you run down to the corner drugstore or that, quote, vitamin shop and see if they've got something similar. Well, that's not going to do the trick. So stay on the regimen, stagesoflifevitamins.com. That's stagesoflifevitamins.com.